$59.95.
No, that's sell to you for $39 if you want it.
$39?
Four-door station wagon, Rod's good.
No cassette player?
Problem solving means many things, from answering questions on a math test to making informed decisions in daily life. It's an acquired skill, something you can learn, practice, and get better at. In this program, we talk about using a process to solve problems. Read the problem-solving chapter in the math workbook and click on the GED connection part of the PBS Literacy Link website for more instruction and practice.
Math is critical thinking. It's some decisions that you might have to make at a moment's time that'll determine which direction your life will go in.
It starts very early, we think, in first and second and third grade with a view towards arithmetic. That if even primary school teachers have that view that here is the way I want you to do the problem. I'm going to give it to you this way. If you don't, put it neatly in columns or neatly in rows or have this answer here. Take that number, do it to this number. And that's how you get the answer. That if students are brought up that way, they develop a reliance, a crutch on how you do the problem rather than what's the problem about and how could you do the problem. They're always waiting for the teacher. Give me the way. I can't do it myself. And part of good teaching and part of what we see happening in those schools where you get high performance, the teachers don't teach that way. It's not that they don't have particular ways of doing it. It's just they want the students to work out at least some part of the way themselves.
People really don't like to think as much. They want the answer instantaneously, instant. What's the answer? What's the answer? They really want to involve themselves in thinking about it and what if. Evolving from being concrete to abstract is hard.
How do I approach a non-routine problem? What do I do when I have a problem I haven't seen before? Do I simply get into a fit and go, I can't do it, I can't do it? Or do I work systematically and say, oh, I've learned on problems I've never seen before. It sometimes is good to write down a table, to put down things in order. What would it cost me here? What would it cost me there? What would it cost me in the third place? If you learn those kinds of strategies, writing tables, drawing a picture on some problems is very good. There may be times when solving an equation, looking at a formula, trying to find a formula, having to generalize to invent a formula that you weren't given, but figuring it out may be the thing that you have to do on a non-routine problem.
I guess there's the musical analogy. You have to practice, you have to come across the situation enough times that you get good at discerning what's needed. In the same way that if you're playing in a wedding band and you're playing a polka one song and then you're playing a rock and roll tune the next song, it's two different styles of music, and you've got to be able to know the kinds of things you do to make a polka sound good and the kinds of things you do to make a rock and roll song sound good.
In my class, I'm not concerned about the answers to half the problems. I'm concerned about the process, the mental process that took place and the development of that process. Even when they come up to me with the answer, I say, ooh, that's special. You have the answer. I didn't want the answer. So, well, what do you want? That's the first question. The reaction is, what do you mean? I got the answer right. Isn't that right? I was like, that's good, but that's not what I asked for.
A process can help you break down a difficult problem into manageable steps. Any good process begins with understanding where you're going. What do you want to know? This may seem obvious, but it's easy to get thrown off course while working through the details of any problem. So focus on the question to keep from getting distracted or confused.